swag this down so we can get a good shot of your cat's butthole. Switch over. Alright. Happy Friday, Dom.
Happy Friday.
Ooh. It has been it's been a spicy 48 hours, that's for sure. Who would have thought last week when we talked about what we were doing and what we were planning, who would have thought that it was going to end up like this, you know?
Yep.
Who could have ever imagined? Yeah. So last week we were like talking about Pathfinder, and I was like, yeah, I'm getting kind of curious about it. I want to see what's going on. And then they're like, I guess the world is like, well, I mean, maybe you won't. Maybe you won't see what it's like. I don't know. Maybe, yeah. So, my heart is heavy. So here's the thing. We should probably have like a big disclaimer that constantly gets flashed across the screen, but I didn't think to put that up. So Dom and I, we aren't lawyers. You know, we're not legal people. But there is one thing that we are, and that's guys that play a lot of tabletop. And I mean, we know people that play a lot and run a lot and create a lot of tabletop, and we have seen firsthand over the last 2 days how this, let's just call it a scandal, how the scandal is affecting everybody. I call it a scandal because we don't know if it's a hoax, we don't know if it's blown out of proportion, we don't know anything, really. We know what we know, and that's the document that was leaked, and then experts around the world, because D&D's hot right now, experts around the world have weighed in on this document. Companies have weighed in on this document. At this point, anybody that's like saying it's a hoax, I mean, okay, it's a hoax, sure, but like that doesn't take away the damage that's being dealt right now, right? And that's why I kind of consider this to be more of a scandal, right? Because with a scandal, it doesn't matter what happens. Like, it's the damage that's being done that matters, right? Like, if you get caught up in a scandal and 6 months later your reputation is cleared, that doesn't clean up the mess that your life is from being dragged, like, through that scandal. Hey, what's up, Ursa? So, like, that's why I'm calling it a scandal. Until we know for sure, until the company, Wizards of the Coast, steps forward and says, listen, everybody, this is what is actually happening, we don't know for sure, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like good corporate sabotage because everyone's getting fucked. So, like, I don't know why anyone would think that this is fake or that the leaked document is fake, because it's bad for everyone. So it just doesn't make any sense why it would be a fake document, right? Now, you could argue that it's a real document, but everybody's blowing it out of proportion. But here's the thing. In the last 48 hours, they've run this document by some pretty big dick, like, lawyers and experts and industry professionals. And, like, they're all kind of coming up with the same takeaways here. So, yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I am only just now starting to publish third-party content under the OGL, so I have a small dog in the fight. I run paid games using Dungeons & Dragons on Foundry VTT, so I have a slightly medium-sized dog in the fight, but I also have the benefit of having, like, a day job, career, good benefits, like a life outside of D&D. I am friends with, and I know a lot of people who worked very hard over the last few years to make a career, to make a life around the open gaming license, being able to make content, make games, make their own games. Like, this has existed for 22 years. So while it's tempting to tell these people you done fucked around and found out, like, it's been there for 22 years, guys. Like, this is a pretty big and old rug to suddenly have pulled out from under you. So everybody who's out there saying, you know, well, what did you think was going to happen, you know, making a game using somebody else's rules, try to have a little humanity, maybe, like a little compassion for the people that are maybe about to lose their livelihood or are worried about losing their livelihood in what we could probably describe as a pretty dark timeline. So, like, I'm sorry to get really heavy here, but I have seen a lot of people being very dismissive of this and very dismissive of people's reaction to this. Unless you are paying your bills and feeding your kids with the money you make from the open gaming license, and you are in jeopardy of like losing all of that very, very soon, but you don't know you're going to lose it, you don't actually know anything because your whole life, your whole livelihood is currently up in the air and being dragged through a scandal, I think you need to be a little bit more compassionate, maybe be quiet for a little bit and let these people kind of like sort it out. But we do a weekly vodcast, and there's no way that anybody who came to listen to us talk about anything tonight would have let us talk about anything tonight except the OGL scandal. So we're going to talk about the OGL scandal, but we're not going to sensationalize it. We are not trying to get a bunch of views and a bunch of clicks and all that kind of stuff. I don't want you to go around panic mongering and all that kind of stuff. I want to talk about it in a very, like, calm way, you know? Like, I've watched a ton of videos, probably 2 or 3 hours worth of videos of people going over the document, lawyers going over the document. I've had the entire document read to me aloud because I've been too busy to sit down and just read said document. It's pretty heavy, and I agree with Dom's take on it. So Dom, what is your take on what is your cold calculating take?
So the way I see this, and it's that it seems like Wizards of the Coast is just doing what any other business would do if they had an IP and people were making money off it. The only problem is that I feel like that would work in any other industry but tabletop RPG.
Right.
Because there's so much stuff is so much of a tabletop RPG is a community built kind of like grassroots type of, like, yeah, you know, people are making money off of your thing, but that's also bringing more people into your it's kind of like a cycle. Like, yeah, you know, somebody makes money off your thing, that person gets interested in it, they go buy all your products to get into the system, and then eventually they start making their own thing, which gets more people in. Like, I mean, it's been going on for 20 years now, I guess, right? So
yeah, and
I feel like it's gotten so big.
It's 22 years old. 22 years old is how old the OGL is.
I wouldn't have learned about D&D without third-party people doing something with D&D.
Right. Yeah, like Sensei Suplex was trying to start a new MMO series. What the fuck is he gonna do? What are you gonna do about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's anybody gonna do about it? It's rough.
But then again, like, at the end of the day, though, like, that's nothing. Nothing is stopping people from doing that except that they're not gonna make money off of it. But like, I mean, that's the thing. Like, no one's really gonna want to do this if they can't. Like, and some people will.
Yeah.
But a lot of people won't.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of pragmatic things to say about, like, what is happening, right? You could say, okay, we'll just raise the price of your third-party product to make up for the royalties you will now have to pay. Okay, well, you know who's telling you to do that? The consumer. Like, so you're telling them that you would like to be punished for this decision, right? So are you willing to pay 20 to 30% more for every third-party product that you buy to make up for those royalties that are going to be collected? Like, does that seem like something you want to do? Also, when it was more vague about did you own the content or did you not own the content, there was a bit more confidence going into it, right? When I finally got convinced to start doing third-party content, one of the biggest pieces of advice I got was don't publish through DM's Guild, publish through DriveThruRPG, or self-publish. And the reason for that is if you publish on on DM's Guild, you waive 50% of your profits. They're just gone. 50% of the money you make is gone. Right off the top. That's a lot of money, 50%, right? So this is in the current situation, not with things changing. Currently, if you have anything going through the DMs Guild, the DMs Guild can own any, like, Wizards of the Coast could take anything from the DMs Guild and add it to another product. So if you release a banger like Monster Manual, they could be like, some of these monsters are amazing, and they will just add it to a future product if they wanted to. They don't even have to ask you for permission. Like, the DMs Guild is sort of like a taste of where they are trying, in my opinion, to push everybody, right? They want everybody in that marketplace where they can keep an eye on them, where they can monitor the product, and where they can take the product whenever they want to. And here's the thing. In Corpo Mind, right? In Corpo Mind, this is a great idea. This is a great idea. Like, everything they're doing, if you were a corporate person, right? If you were a money person, if you were a numbers person, everything they're doing makes sense. It's our intellectual property. We inherited it when we purchased the company, says Hasbro, right? Obviously, right? Rules as written versus rules as intended. Rules as written, I don't think there was ever the intention of saying, hey, Paizo, wouldn't it be great if you made a game that's pretty much like ours, but better, built on our rules, then competed directly with us, and then took all of our customers away? Like, wouldn't that be a cool idea? Like, that was probably not the rules as intended of the original Open Gaming License. I doubt when they wrote it, they were like, wouldn't it be great if Solasta went and made their own video game and didn't do any, like, design work themselves? They just took our system and they took the hype and the reputation and the fan base from our game and they used it to become instantly successful with their game because it's using, like, our rules. I don't think that was rules as intended, right? I think rules as intended was, wouldn't it be cool if people could write adventures for Dungeons & Dragons? Wouldn't it be cool if people could publish their own campaign worlds for our game, Dungeons & Dragons? I don't think the intention was ever, wouldn't it be cool if we could build, like, the source code, right, of everyone else's video game, right? That's kind of, in the last 22 years, what has happened. They created a strong 3.5 source code that was then used to build all these other game systems, and those other game systems are now in danger because they use that freely available code. That the original contract was only 900 words, and it was written very casually, and it was you know, the Wizards of the Coast of the late 90s was not the same kind of company that 2023 Hasbro is. 2023 Hasbro is some fucking Cyberpunk 2077 corpo shit. The company that made the Open Gaming License in the late 90s, the early 2000s, Wizards of the Coast, these guys were crazy, okay? Like, they were crazy cool guys. They actually were tanking the company at one point with, like, workplace parties and orgies. You could, like, look this stuff up online to find out about the sordid history of Seattle-based Wizards of the Coast in the late 90s and early 2000s. It was bananas, okay? Yeah, they were, like, free spirits. They were doing what they wanted to do. They were making, like, hey, this is a great idea. Everybody can make Dungeons & Dragons. Hell yeah. Cool. That's amazing. And that's great. And that's, like, a good thing. And all of the things that came out of it, in my opinion, are good. Pathfinder is good. It brings a lot of joy to a lot of people. It provides a different flavor ice cream at the ice cream parlor. But now, in the year 2023, with a mega corporation in charge of the product, they're not going to be okay with that. And it sucks. It sucks. But, like, that's the harsh reality of it. This has been, for some people, 20 or more years of fucking around till you find out, you know?
Like, like if this was the case from the beginning, and then they, if this was the case from the beginning, and like trying to think of like what the world what D&D would be like if this was the case from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like if they had put this out 20 years ago, and like all this was covered, and the intellectual property was locked up like this.
Yeah.
The big issue here is that it wasn't done 20 years ago, and so many things has been built up off of this thing, and then now it's just being like, hey, we're flipping the switch.
Yeah. And now again, it's gonna sound like I'm a Wizards of the Coast corpo slave over here, but I'm gonna say this right now.
Mm-hmm.
We looked at the numbers, okay? Last year, of all of the sales for tabletop products, do you know how much Paizo made? 3.3%. And that was their biggest competition. One other company only made 3.3% of all of the money that was spent on tabletop products. But for some reason, they don't think that that's okay. Like, they need to lock it down.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy to me, right? That seems crazy.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. The world is uncertain. Everything is rapidly changing, right? Who knows if the next Pathfinder system that some team of 12 people working together on Discord makes a better system. What if A5E had completely taken off, right? And just stolen their player base? What if somebody builds an amazing MMO online that is based entirely on their open gaming license system and it becomes an overnight success? Like, it's just a huge hit, right? Like, what if, right? It's an easy thing in a board meeting to start kicking these what ifs around, right? Like, we've dodged a bullet so far, guys, but what if, right? What if 3.3% this year, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? We got to shake things up with D&D, but the people don't like the new 1D&D. It's just like 4th edition all over again. And the reason 4th edition failed? Pathfinder. That's why. 1D&D will be fine as long as we lock down the competition. What? Like, what kind of competition did you have? It might seem like Pathfinder has a lot of players. It just has a lot of loud players. The people that play Pathfinder are passionate about Pathfinder. They talk about Pathfinder. They preach about Pathfinder. They're like evangelist Christians about Pathfinder. It seems like a lot of people are playing Pathfinder. There really aren't a lot of people playing Pathfinder. And if there are, a lot of people, especially and if they are, they're not spending any money apparently. I mean, you and I found out last week the whole fucking game's free. Like, who are you competing with? Who are you afraid of? Like, I don't understand. And like, they've gotten so greedy for money, and they're just squeezing every ounce of blood out of like their Magic the Gathering people, right? And then the Magic the Gathering people, the Professor, all these other like big name YouTubers, they're like standing up to them. They're saying, this is inappropriate. This is out of line. Your 30th anniversary product was a cash grab. It was inappropriately priced. It was ridiculous. Everything you're doing is greedy and terrible. You don't care about the community anymore. You don't care about building the community. And Wizards of the Coast rep turns around and says, look at how much money we made. I think we know what we're doing. So here's the problem, right? Dungeons & Dragons is not Magic the Gathering, right? In Magic the Gathering land, okay, people still buy the product that you make. There's no third-party option for them to buy product from. The community that was built up around the fact that we're all going to buy these cards together from the store, right? Ideally from the game store, though now Wizards of the Coast is partnered with Amazon, and you could buy the cards much cheaper through their Amazon store, so why would you ever go to a game store? And then you say, well, they still have to go to the game store to play tournaments, but Magic the Gathering actually makes more money off of their online arena platform, so like, why do we even need to sell cards? So that's why the card quality goes down, because Nobody cares, right? Nobody cares. They take that same attitude, right, of like, we're still making money, and then they think that it's going to work with D&D. And here's the shitty part, is it is going to work with D&D. Like, they are going to, if they do go through with this, and lock everything down, the basic bitches of the world, the average Joes of the world, they're still going to come play Dungeons & Dragons because they saw people playing it on Stranger Things, right? Like, they're still going to play D&D. And if everything for D&D can be purchased through one site for one subscription cost or whatever, that's even easier, right?
I mean, if you think about it, remember one of our last episodes we were talking about, playing official adventures versus a homebrew adventure, or a third-party adventure, and how when you're a DM and you're trying to like find people to play, and you're just out there in the public.
Yeah.
A lot of times, the one they're looking for is the official published.
We have working numbers right now, Dom. Like, anything we do that we throw Curse of Strahd at the front of gets double or triple the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, all these people that are turning around, they're saying, well, you're going to regret this D&D. No one's going to play D&D anymore. Much like you think a lot of people play Pathfinder, because because the few people that do play Pathfinder won't stop talking about it, a lot of people are upset, and they are the right people. Like, they're the people that their livelihoods are at stake. Their passion is at stake. Like, they've invested so much of themselves into this. They've built a life around this, a company around this, a reputation around this. They have flown the flag of this company and helped build the community for this company, only to feel betrayed, and then have no response from the company, no nothing, right? So they have a right to be upset. But if you think that everyone is upset, they're not. That's the problem. They're not. So, like, Wizards of the Coast thinks, okay, well, we'll make some people upset, but at the end of the day, we're going to walk away with more money.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the reason, part of the reason why, none of the big partners of D&D are saying anything, because they probably have their own, unique deal that they're going to keep processing.
Yeah, where's Critical Role right now? I guarantee you Critical Role was one of the first people that was approached with the new plan and the new deal. You think that they're paying royalties? You think Critical Role's paying royalties? Critical Role's not going to pay any royalties. Critical Role's probably getting a cut.
They're advertising. Their advertising arm.
Yeah. The Critical Role that was ashamed of running the Wendy's one-shot and tried to give back the money and then donated it to organizations that were directly opposed to Wendy's anti-union efforts and things like that. Those guys are gone, okay? They got bought out by Amazon. They're big corpo now, okay? So if you think that they're going to stand with everybody and be like, oh, you're right, we're not going to do this. No. So, it's heartbreaking. And then there's some real champions out there that are standing up, and they're trying to draw attention to how important this is and how bad this is and what a huge impact this is going to have. And I appreciate everyone out there that is doing that and trying to raise awareness. And I don't think that what is happening right now is fear-mongering. I think it's important for people to understand that there really are things at stake here. Okay? Wizards of the Coast will continue to make money, and they'll probably make more money than they ever did before. But here's the problem. Wizards of the Coast doesn't make good products. Wizards of the Coast owns a good product that the community supports. Okay? So, when they, or if they, nuke these third-party publishers, scare off these third-party publishers, castrate these third-party publishers, put them on a leash, control them, however you want to put it, what they are doing is removing the competition, and then anybody that is still left, they have control over. How is that going to fix the problem that they make mediocre product? It's not. It's going to exacerbate the problem, because now they really don't have to try. because they really don't have any competition. And because anybody that did take the deal, anybody that is working for them essentially as a third-party contractor, they could just take the best that other people make, people that they don't have to pay salaries to, that they don't have to pay medical benefits for, that they don't have to declare on their taxes, and they just take it. So, like, it's real bad. It's real bad. So, yeah, it's real bad. And if you're a Pathfinder kid and you're scared because, you know, they might, like, go after Paizo, I will point this out. In 2012, I'm very old. I've lived through all of this, okay? I was 20 when the OGL came out. I was old enough that when they had the campaign building contest that eventually gave us all Eberron, I had actually put together a packet to mail in with my own world, but then I chickened out. So, like, I remember all this, okay? In 2012, they tried to lock down Paizo. They said they stole our game. That was not the intention of the document. Blah, 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 blah. Court ruled against Wizards of the Coast. Paizo won. Wizards of the Coast didn't bother to sue anybody else about it. Life went on for another 10 years. So you could take a little bit of hope from that history will repeat itself. And if they do really, really try to double down and follow through on this, that Paizo is able to get, the protection that they need. They're able to kind of argue their case. They're able to kind of prove that Pathfinder 2 is significantly different from the original source material from which it was spawned, etc., etc. But there are a lot of big shot lawyers who have weighed in, and they have pointed out that with a better legal team, Wizards of the Coast could have won that case in 2012. And Hasbro got a lot more money than Wizards of the Coast. So Hasbro could win this case if they really wanted to. You might not know this about the legal system, but sometimes you can win just by having more money. I know you probably don't want to hear that, but sometimes you can just win by having more money. Yeah.
I mean, the extent of the new OGL versus the old one, you can see the update in quality lawyer speak. So
yeah. So let's scroll through chat real quick. Couple of things here. So DM Dave is posting his own creator original open license, which is awesome. I know that AJ Pickett, aka the Mighty Glue Stick, my personal source for Dungeons & Dragons lore, I know that he is no longer focusing on anything related to Dungeons & Dragons products, and that any of the lore that he writes for his channel, you can then use to generate your own content. So he created his own open license as well in response to what is going on here. So, I mean, that's cool to hear. Let's see. What else we got? Lexeus points out that don't forget that Hasbro is working on, has previewed, and is going to push through their new VTT program. Yes. So, VTT program, they complain that players don't spend any money. Well, I mean, that's true. I mean, you know, unless they're paying to be in a paid game, I don't know too many players that spend money. So, yeah. Wizards of the Coast is like, how do we do that? Well, we could get them with a VTT service. And how do we make sure they use our VTT service? Well, we just shut down all the other VTT services. We just make it so they aren't allowed to use D&D on their services. But boss, they'll just keep playing regular 5th edition. They won't play 1D&D. And they say, well, that's why we're going to make sure that 1D&D is never actually called 6th edition. We're just going to make sure that it's still 5th edition, but when we alter the deal, as it were, of the OGL, it will retroactively wipe all the access that everyone else has. Which now, you want to keep playing D&D, you're going to play it on our platform, and you're going to pay us every month for the privilege to play it on our platform, even if you're a player. Are you a player that doesn't have a lot of money? Don't worry, we'll run ads for you. Are you a player that, are you a group that doesn't have a lot of money, but one money bags in the group does? He can get a group rate. And then, you know, kind of like I got 12 quote-unquote family members on my Nintendo plan or whatever, right? Like, there's gonna be a way for them to use the platform to get money from you every single month.
I mean, yeah, the one thing they were talking about, it was kind of like cosmetics for your character.
Yeah. So, oh wow, cool, we're gonna have 3D characters. That's great. Yeah, well, you know, you get a basic bitch like little gray dragonborn. You want a cool character? It's gonna be like fucking Reddit avatars. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's crazy. But hey, at least none of them will be NFTs.
Amiibos.
Hey, none of them will be NFTs though. None of them will be NFTs. So then Valak says, I had less responses for my Lost Mines of Phandelver campaign recruiting than my homebrew setting recruiting, but Curse of Strahd has a better reputation than Lost Mines of Phandelver. I think the issue there, Valak, is Lost Mines of Phandelver is so old at this point. It's like 10 years old. I think most people have already played it. And then people that are new have already had it spoiled by Adventure Time or any number of live streams or just, you know, random talk and gossip and whatnot about the thing. It is nowadays used as the sort of training tool for new DMs. Like, people will reference it like all the time. Yeah. Also, Roll20 made it free to everybody, and D&D Beyond made it free to everybody. So, like, everybody's played it. Everybody has access to it. It was the starter kit for a while. You could buy the starter kit for, like, $9. So, like, yeah, I think it was just that particular adventure was not attracting people. If you're playing the latest release, you will always fill your seats. If you're running the latest campaign release, you will always fill your seats. And then Sven, who is working on third-party publishing, says, as someone who's played and run tabletop RPGs for over a decade, with much of that time being D&D, all I can say this is doing for me is killing my desire to even interact with the product gaming as a whole. I'm going to be honest with you, man. I couldn't think about or deal with this yesterday because I wanted to make sure going into my Curse of Strahd game last night that I was in a good headspace. But, like, I'm seeing just too many people I care about just having their spirits crushed by this. I'm seeing too many people I care about just getting real worked up and real upset about this. I'm seeing a lot of people that I look up to and respect in the industry completely changing their business model overnight in response to how this is. And I'm going to say that is not a knee-jerk reaction, and that is not a scare tactic or anything. This is not them trying to use this opportunity to suddenly get themselves more likes or get themselves attention. Why would DM Dave make his own system if he was already one of the most successful third-party publishers of all time, like independent? I'm not saying like he's better than Paizo, but like independent. Like, why would he stop using the OGL by choice, right? Now, remember, these people were sent a document that they're not allowed to talk about, okay? But actions can speak for you, okay? So you can't ask DM Dave, hey, did you get a copy of it? Did you read it? Do you know what the whole document says? Were you aware that this is going to happen? Because he doesn't want to get sued, right? He had a, non-disclosure agreement. So it's like, you're not going to say anything, but maybe his sudden overnight decision to rebrand and start moving in another direction has to do with information that he might have that we don't have. Maybe he's not crazy and overreacting, guys. Maybe he knows how bad things are going to be. You see all these creators that you really respect, all these very prominent, very successful creators are suddenly like, oh, it's real bad. Yeah, maybe they were in the batch of people that were contacted ahead of time, made to promise not to talk about it, and know how bad it is, okay? Like, they can't all be crazy. They can't all be overreacting over a leaked document. They were all given the document. Also, like, they are reacting to what they know, and now they feel more comfortable showing that reaction, still not talking about it, but showing that reaction because of the leak. That is a much better theory in my mind than all of these people that we look up to and we respect, and all these people that make incredible content just are overreacting to a rumor. That seems kind of crazy to me, that all of these these successful business people, these incredible content creators, these brilliant minds, they're all just overreacting to a leaked document that might be fake. It might be a hoax. Okay. Yeah, sure. Cool. But to kind of go with Sven's point here, yeah, like, even if it's a hoax, which I'm going to say it's probably not, and even if Wizards of the Coast has a Christmas Carol, like Ghost of Christmas Future Past, what the fuck was I thinking? This is definitely a mistake, and they try to backpedal, short of like the greatest corporate apology of all time, the damage is done, right? Like, okay, you didn't do it this year. You didn't do it this year. Are you going to do it next year? What if your numbers aren't as good as you want this year? We're gonna have to do this dance every year? We're going to have to protest every year? Like, why would we continue to support a product that we can't trust, right? Why would we continue to invest, literally invest our money and our time and our futures in a product we can't trust? That's the damage that has been done in 48 hours, right? Like, that's powerful. That is a powerful betrayal of trust. And it is not just like a contagious sort of panic that's like being picked up. Again, as we said at the beginning of this podcast, very smart, very qualified people have viewed the document, and many other people read the full and real document, okay? They're not allowed to talk about it because they're under an NDA. So, yeah. So yeah, it's hard. It's hard to go forward right now, right? Like, my team, we are working hard to get a third-party product ready for launch before the end of this month, and like, our morale has been shot with a torpedo. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. How
are we supposed to keep the wind under our wings when stuff like this is happening? It's rough. It's real rough. Raptor21 Echo says, quick returns for shareholders, pump and dump, ride the high, and bail when the torches and the pitchforks come out. Absolutely. I was explaining to my kid that in the modern corpo world, they're playing a completely different game. A game of numbers and a game of reputation. These big shot CEOs, they just go from one company to the other, trying to outdo each other's stats and numbers and leaderboards and all that kind of stuff. The game is the company's profit, and the battlefield is the product and its fan base. And like, they don't care about the product, and they don't care about the fan base. They care about their own stats. They care about the numbers that they can produce. And if they produce enough numbers, a bigger company will hire them to do the same thing for them. And then when they leave, the company tanks, but that lets another corpo come in and pick the company up, which makes it look like they've got good numbers. And they just circle jerk each other forever. And the product suffers, and the fan base suffers, and the quality suffers. And that doesn't matter because the money keeps coming. Because everybody wants to escape from this timeline. And tabletop, video games, like media, this is how we do it. So even if they cancel your favorite show, you're not going to stop watching shows. You'll just find another show. And even if they cancel your tabletop game, you're going to miss how you feel when you play tabletop games. You will come back and play more tabletop games. I've watched it happen. I used to play video games. I'm so old that I played video games where you had to unlock content yourself by playing the game. And you had to find content by going to and finding secret areas. And now when I play a video game, I just give them an extra $50 to get all the cool shit that I want. I lived through that transition. I lived through the was it Skyrim Horse Armor? Yeah, it was Skyrim Horse Armor. I lived through that scandal, right? Mm-hmm. How dare they? How dare they try to charge us for Horse Armor? And now it's like nothing. You know, we're rallying right now. We're upset right now. 5 years from now? 10 years from now? You're going to be like, in order to play this tabletop game, you got to subscribe to it like fucking Worlds of Warcraft. Like, I don't like it, but like that's definitely, from what I can tell, sort of the direction they're trying to move things. And it's sad. It's really sad. Because the open game license that has been around for 22 years was one of the greatest and kindest things that I think in my lifetime had ever been created. It inspired generation of like creators to build together, to make entire worlds for people to escape into, to tell just millions of stories. And they don't view it as that, right? They view it as a liability because their second best competitor made 3% of last year's tabletop profits. It's heartbreaking. Whew. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, any other industry.
Yeah.
This is just another thing.
Yeah, this is our Skyrim horse armor, I guess. Jesus. Sven says, AJ Pickett is the GOAT, absolutely. Let's see. New VTT has me worried for bundles, miniatures paid for separate from the modules there for and ads. Listen,
for sure.
If
they already do that with books.
If you've ever made the mistake of playing Magic the Gathering Arena, let me tell you, these guys are really good at getting your money through an online application. Let me tell you, these motherfuckers have card collections that do not exist. Alright, again, I'm going to tell you I'm so old that I started playing Magic the Gathering when Legends came out. Okay? I have ruined probably $500,000 worth of cards in my lifetime because I was a sloppy little bitch when I was in middle school. I didn't sleeve my cards. I kept them in my back pocket with a rubber band. I had decks just full of dual lands that I don't even know where they are nowadays. Okay, my friend's mom threw most of our cards away when we went off to college. I'm one of those guys. Okay, but those cards were real and those cards really existed. And I love computers and I love VTT and I love video games and I love playing online. But like Magic the Gathering Arena, you don't own anything. Those aren't real cards. But people will drop so much money on something that's not even real. And they see that you will do that. And they know that you will do that. And that's one D&D. Like,
I mean, think about it, that's Steam.
Well, yeah, in a way that's Steam. We don't own any of these fucking video games. I don't got that. License. In this drawer, right next to me, I have this thing. Ugh. Right? This is a Game Boy. This is a DS. In this game, like in this drawer with this DS, are physical cartridges that I could play. So I guess if, worst case scenario, we're in the end times, at least as long as I can find a place to charge this thing or get a nice solar battery or something, I can still play my video games. I get it. I get why people are into physical things, right? Like why you want to own something and see something in real life, because more and more everything is just online. Everything is on loan. It's on loan. I've heard the arguments about when D&D Beyond first came out, I was into it, but it was too expensive. And then Critical Role had a very good sale through their podcast or their show or whatever, where you could get like a lifetime license or something. It was like a really good sale. And so I talked to my wife and I said, hey, it seems like a lot of money, but like if I'm doing this paid DM thing, this legendary thing, it lets me share these books with everyone, and I want to be able to share the books without being a pirate, right? I don't want to like be giving out illegal copies. I want everyone to have the stuff. I think it's good because it's searchable. I think it's, I think it's a good product. I believe in the product. I want to do this. And she's like, yeah, go for it. That sounds great. And I have not regretted it. And when I still used Facebook, I would argue with all of the other old people that, guys, I understand that physical books are good, but this is a very useful resource. It's very useful. I'm not buying the book twice. I'm not paying for when the internet dies, I'll still have my books. And it's like, cool, right? But if the internet dies, we're probably fucked. So, but yeah, sure, play some D&D, I guess. But I get it. I get why you'd want to own the books, why you want to have the books, right? Because in a way, I feel like that if I'm going to spend money on Magic cards, I want to be able to like hold the Magic cards in my hands. I want to look at the Magic cards and know that they're my Magic cards. I want to be able to eat the fucking Magic card if I want to. Like, I want to have that much control over the Magic card. But that same business model lends itself pretty well to making yourself essentially a one-stop shop for Dungeons and Dragons, right?
I mean,
you want third-party content, you can get it through the DMs Guild. It's attached right here to our website. Like,
yeah, why wouldn't you want to? If you were Wizard of the Coast, why wouldn't you want to be the one-stop shop for D&D?
You know, and here's the thing: you would say, "Oh, so they're afraid. They're afraid of the competition." In a way, they kind of are. Look at what is it? PUBG versus Fortnite. Okay, Fortnite did a lot better than PUBG. And, like, there was that whole scandal of, like, the one team was working on it, and then they took the code they worked on, they made the different game, and then their game ended up better. You guys probably too young to remember, but, like, Warcraft 3, there was, like, a fun fan game built using Warcraft 3 that is now League of Legends. So, like, these companies do have a legitimate reason to be afraid for their IP. They do have a legitimate reason because you never know what is going to blow up, right? And if you are a rich corporation, you might as well own everything just in case something blows up and gets real big. Again, Dom and I are not defending the corporations. We think that they are evil sacks of shit who have taken one of the greatest and kindest acts of creativity that has been made in the last 20 plus years, and they're destroying it. Like, we are with you. This is bad, but we're also pointing out that this is the mindset behind them, right? Like, we're DMs. We understand villains. Like, it just makes sense for them to have everything under one roof, under one label, and then anything that is created for it, if it gets too big, they still got it.
Yeah. I mean, like big corporate. I mean, that doesn't sound bad to big corporate.
Yeah, that sounds brilliant. That sounds fucking brilliant to them, right? And here's the thing that no one's going to want to hear. To the basic bitch consumer, it also sounds brilliant. Okay? Here's the thing. I own product on DM's Guild. I own product on Drive-Thru RPG. Originally, you had to log into both sites separately. Eventually, they united, and the same login works on both, and they merged the libraries together. It wasn't always like that. So I had to keep track. Where did I buy this product? Where did I buy that product? Then people were, like, wised up, and they were like, I'm not going to lose 30 to 50% selling through one of those services. I'm going to sell through my own website. So now I've got individual sites that I've bought product from. And then I also have Patreon, which is a fucking mess to get any products from that I get product from because I support creators and I get access to their products. And then there's Ko-fi or whatever, however you pronounce it. I think it's just Ko-fi. And you get product from there that you either get through subscription or that you can buy outright. And then there's Gumroad to go get product from. And then. So it's like, because it's an open market, you got to go shopping everywhere. And as an avid hobbyist, as a professional dungeon master, this is my part-time job, I put in the work to find the best product and go track it down, right? And people come to me. I get private messages all the time on Discord, not to say, Crash, I really appreciate the content you make. Crash, why are you and Dom so handsome? Thanks for making a vodcast every Friday. They say, give me this map. They say, can I have everything that you did for Red Handed Doom? Can I have everything that you did for Odyssey? They don't want to put in the work to go get this stuff. They don't want to put in the work to figure out who's making the best maps or who's making the best art or who's making the best music. The average basic bitch consumer is lazy. The average basic bitch human is lazy. If they could pay a monthly fee to log in to one D&D server and know that their VTT is there, that their monster stats are there, that all of the third-party content they bought. You think that the deal between DM's Guild and Roll20 isn't wrapped up in this shit? You think Roll20 isn't wrapped up in this shit? Come on now. Why would they make the deal with Roll20 to have access to DM Guild stuff? That doesn't that seem kind of weird? Okay, so like if a basic bitch consumer could pay one monthly fee to get access to everything they need, to have every store that they need right next to the product, and know that when I buy this map, it's automatically available on the tabletop. I don't have to learn how to set it up. I don't have to do anything, right?
Yeah, the name 1DD makes a lot of sense.
Right, it makes a lot more sense now, right? When I want to buy a pack of quote-unquote miniatures, I know that those miniatures are already set up on the tabletop. I know that those miniatures already have all the macros associated with them. And so on and so forth. And when I want to go buy some third-party product, I know that I don't have to put in the work of converting it to the tabletop, because more than likely it's probably already set up for 1D&D. If they took all the other deals and they're paying all the royalties and everything else, it's probably all mixed up in that shit anyways. So now I can go and pick up some third-party content and automatically have it ready to go in the game. Do you think, thinking about the people that you know in your life, that people are not going to like this product? You know? Like, this is convenience in a busy world.
Yep.
It's a corpo world. Like, I've been playing a lot of Cyberpunk, but like, this is it. It's happening. Part of what makes the third party like world that we're in right now so beautiful to me is that experience of seeking out the content, of finding the content creators, of just saying, oh, I found the best map maker. Oh my god, you would have no idea. Like, the art on this, it looks kind of crappy, but this adventure was amazing. This is an amazing adventure, and you share it with the people that you know, so they go pick up a copy, because it's incredible. That whole feeling of being in some magical bazaar, they're just trying to take that away, you know? That feeling that anybody who has a great idea can put that idea out there for free, for money, for tips. They're stomping all over that. And
no, you can still do it for free.
Oh yeah, you could do it for free, and then if it's good, they'll just take it and maybe monetize it. I don't know. And then maybe you won't get anything.
I mean, you did it for free, right?
Yeah, why not?
Goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the only way this can be, like, they can have both. The only way we can have both is if, you have to do everything under them, but instead of it being more of like, hey, you have to pay us if you do it, maybe we pay you. Like,
that'd be nice.
Like, if that would be the best. That would be the if D&D wants everything to be under their umbrella, and that everything that is sold has to be under them, then maybe if you want to do something, you have to get D&D has to pay, like, Wizards of the Coast pays you to do it.
Yeah,
but that's not going to happen.
Yeah, Lexaeus22 says, or the third parties will have to work out special deal. Third party VTTs will have to work out special deals as well. Well, I guarantee you, Roll20 has already worked out a pretty special deal. They're the top in the field. They have the most subscribers. They have the most player base. They are the biggest competition for 1D&D, and they're the most well known. In a way, right? If you have a product, it's not a bad idea to own a second product that is an alternative to the first product. So when a disgruntled customer says, well, I'm not going to use 1D&D, that's bullshit. I'm going to use Roll20. And then they're like, works for us. I mean, we're still going to get your money. I mean, Roll20 is going to be paying 25% royalties unless they took a special deal, right? So, I don't know. Cryptic Muffin says, better be prepared for the worst than hope for the best. Deeply cynical, but absolutely in this darkest timeline.
It's your livelihood, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If it's your livelihood, absolutely. I had to take a hard look this morning at everything that I'm doing. People that I'm partnered with might decide, I don't want to move forward with this project anymore because I don't feel that it's safe or worth the effort. And where does that leave me and my team that we're making products with these partners? We're not going to try to force the partners to go through with it. We're going to respect how the partners feel. But how do we feel about it? Is it even worth pursuing? Do we want to sink so much time and energy and money into developing something that it might not be a viable product next year. These are hard decisions to make. I love Foundry VTT. What happens to my Curse of Strahd games and my endless Mythic Odysseys game if, next year they tell Foundry, yeah, there's no more 5th edition? Do we just switch to Pathfinder? Is Pathfinder going to be around? Do we switch back to Roll20? Do we just eat shit and go over to 1D&D? Like,
so that was something about that, because recently, I saw this the other day and I was like, what the heck's going on? And then I saw it was the same day. I mean, it was yesterday. It was the same day as the
yeah, it's been a long week.
But I was just looking at what new mods updates came out, and I realized that the SRD content for D&D at Foundry got split into a separate module.
Yeah.
So we have the system that's the system by itself, and then we have all the content that's SRD in a separate module that you can install or uninstall.
Smart move. So I'm not gonna. I mean, again, everything we say here, people, is just our opinions, and we're just running our fucking mouths. We're not professional anything.
Yeah.
I guess we're professional DMs because people pay us to play D&D with them. But beyond that, I mean, you got a web accessibility expert and an architect over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not lawyers, but a lot of these people that are making these real smart decisions are also people that more than likely were sent a letter before everybody else was. They can't tell you they did, but their actions sure say a lot. You know what I mean? There's a lot of big decisions are being made off of what seems like very little information. It's very little information to us. It doesn't mean it was very little information to the people making those big decisions. Yeah. Let's see. Coxpayne says, better get on the Cyberpunk train. I mean, Dom Cyberpunk starts Tuesday. I mean, it's as good a time as any to watch somebody else run the system and see if you like it or not. Yeah.
About that, personally, I've always been a bigger fan of sci-fi more than fantasy. So if it does blow up and we're in the dark time, you're in the darker timeline.
Yeah, the darkest timeline.
The darkest timeline, and I just have to get away from D&D. I'll stay at Cyberpunk.
Yeah. Well, for me, I would probably eat whatever shit I needed to eat to complete the current D&D games that I have going, because I don't know if it's a brand or not, but my personal brand is when I start a D&D campaign as a DM, I intend to finish it. And so I will do what I have to do to finish the D&D games that I have started without compromising those games. So I wouldn't switch my Curse of Strahd games over to a different system. I would just eat whatever shit sandwich they gave me so that I could finish those campaigns.
From what to go with that, from what I don't know if this is true or not, but there was a couple videos I was listening to, and somebody was explaining the fan content section of the leak.
Yeah.
And they were saying streams and paid DMing and stuff like that, those services, if you're providing a service like that and you're getting paid for the service, you should be okay.
No, I read that part, and I had that part read to me, and I was like, well, that's nice to hear, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I want to finish running it on Foundry. You know what I mean? And if they come after Foundry, I'm going to be really pissed off. But I'm also going to be a sellout and a hypocrite because I'll move the campaign to whatever platform I need to finish it. I'm not gonna cancel everyone's campaigns in protest.
Yeah.
I will finish the campaigns I started. But like I said last Friday, I will not be starting any new D&D campaigns. And I said that I did not receive a secret letter. I am not under an NDA. I made that decision on my own. That in 2023 I was not going to start any new D&D campaigns. And I mean, I obviously now, a week later, I'm pretty happy with that decision. That I had already kind of come to peace with that. But yeah, why would I? I can't trust this company anymore. It's crazy. Let's see. Sven says there's almost 0%. This is a hoax. It is directly harmful to the content creators and companies that are shifting their strategies in response. It shakes confidence in their own products. They would only do this if they had more information than the general public, like I am speculating. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, absolutely. This can be incredibly harmful to artists who want to make art for third-party content. Absolutely. Cryptic Muffin, this is the worst time for this to happen to the art community because they're already dealing with competition from AI, right? And now we're going to go ahead and say, hey, all you third-party publishers, who, by the way, hire way more artists than Wizards of the Coast collectively, okay? They provide way more work for way more artists, and they also give young artists and inexperienced artists and new artists a chance when Wizards of the Coast would certainly not, okay? Mm-hmm. Those people are now having to ask themselves, do we cancel this project? Our Quest for Heroes project, we commissioned Clara Fang to do 6 original pieces for this adventure series that we don't even know if we're going to do anymore, right? So, like, yeah. And okay, you know what? We are going to do it, but we know we're going to have to put it on DM's Guild and lose 50% of all of our profits. Well, I don't know if I'm going to pay for any more art, right? I might just use stock images. I might just do doodles myself. But other people might say, well, shit, I'm definitely going to have to use AI now. If I thought about trying to set aside some money before to hire an artist, but if I'm losing an additional 20% or an additional 25% of what I was going to make, I can't be hiring like artists for this. And that's going to push people even more into the dehumanization of using AI to solve all your art problems. It's horrible. It's like a horrible situation. So I've got all these people I really care about that are content creators and independent publishers. I got all these people I care about that are artists, and it's just all falling apart, you know? And it feels real bad. It's been a real bad 2 days.
You know what? Yeah. You know what might happen? You know, maybe, silver lining, maybe, I doubt, this is like too optimistic. I'm kind of even, hesitating to say this now. But like,
well, we're almost out of time, so let's end on a positive note.
If this happens, and D&D, there's the exodus of the third-party content of D&D, right? Hopefully, all of them can find another system to go through and then express their creativity, do that, and then because there's so many new third-party content flooding into this new system, that new system, actually becomes competition.
I mean, it happened before, right? Yeah. Pathfinder, a lot of you people that are new to the hobby, Pathfinder was king, okay? It was king. It was king of a very small kingdom, because this was a niche hobby before Critical Role blew it up.
Kingmaker.
Yeah, exactly. It was the king of this domain before this domain got really, really big. And there could be another king again, and obviously Wizards of the Coast knows that is a possibility, or they wouldn't be locking all the shit down. And there are some brilliant minds out there. They have pissed off some of the most brilliant minds in the industry with this decision. And who knows? Something really incredible could come out of all of this bullshit that just gives them a run for their money.
And you know what? If there is if there's like a new system that all the third-party content creators go to, and it actually becomes legitimate competition for Wizards of the Coast, that might force them to actually make better product.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
And now we have 2. Hopefully, I don't know. We'll see. Like me saying this is making me like, man, what are you talking about? But hopefully, maybe.
Dom, I have my own tabletop system. I've never told you this, but I have my own tabletop system.
It's a 60-page document. I saw it.
No. I mean like an actual system where like there's dice and then there's mechanics for it and all that. Mm-hmm. It's very simple. I would use it to teach children how to play tabletop. But I mean, technically I have one. So like, And I said this in the car to my kid. I said, I mean, it's honestly not that hard to like come up with a rudimentary like dice rolling system for a game. Like you can overcomplicate it very easily, but to make a fun way to play make believe with rules is not that hard. So yeah, In Death We Return says unless Wizards of the Coast backtrack fast, we will have a new Pathfinder. I think there will be a new something. I think GM Dave, are we calling him GM Dave now? I think GM Dave and all of these other people, and all these other people who are pissed off, if they go all the way with this, if they really do a full corpo lockdown, they are going to weaponize that third-party community, and they are going to, I hope, form up and create something absolutely incredible. So yeah, Dom, I think that is a silver lining. That is a glimmer of hope at the bottom of the Pandora's box that we've been dealing with for two days.
Yeah.
All right, we are at time. We try to keep this thing at an hour. We're a little bit over an hour. Not too bad. I feel a little bit better putting it out there, putting my thoughts out there. It's so nice to always, to end the week by hanging out with you and talking about D&D stuff. I wish we could have talked about more fun, more happy stuff today. But that's all right. I think next week I'd like to talk to you about, a little bit more about how Cyberpunk is going, because you're going to have your first session this week.
Yep.
So yeah, and I don't know, tell you how my Pathfinder learning school times have been going. It's really
I'm looking forward to hearing about meetings tomorrow.
Oh, for sure. We're going to do minions tomorrow morning. That's right. So, quick announcements. Tomorrow morning, we're doing MCDM minions for Red Handed Doom. That's going to be our prep tomorrow morning. We're going to run Red Handed Doom tomorrow morning. Nothing going on tomorrow night. Sunday morning, we got Curse of Strahd Daybreak. Really enjoying all three of my Curse of Strahd games. It's a fantastic campaign. Probably the best thing they've made in 5th edition. And it's even better with the way I'm running it, because I made it so good. So anyways, I'm really enjoying those games. And then Sunday night, we got Mythic Odyssey, and we are at a very spooky and very cool part of the story. One of my favorite parts of the whole campaign. Monday nights, we continue our planeswalking, and we might be concluding our planeswalking in Odyssey Prime post game. Tuesday, Dom starts his Cyberpunk game. Session 0.5, so whatever time they have left after session 0, they're going to start playing the actual campaign, right?
Yep.
And then Wednesday, we've got Monster Hunter Dungeons & Dragons, cruising towards the end of the campaign. We kicked the shit out of some monsters this week. It was real nice.
Yeah, they did really good.
And then Thursday, Curse of Strahd Nightfall, and then Friday, we'll be back here. So, hope everybody has a great weekend. Please try to keep your spirits up. If you know any artists or third-party publishers, any content creators, please be patient with them. Don't tell them that they're overreacting. Don't tell them that they're fear-mongering. Listen to what they have to say and just be there for them. Because, again, some people, this is their entire livelihood that has been just turned upside down, and it has a very uncertain future right now. They need your support more than anything else. All right. Hope everybody has a great weekend. We'll see you next time.
All righty. Take care.